homesteading to prepping to common horse sense, we are College Hill Farm. Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Well, it is Christmas Eve. It's Thursday. Christmas is Sunday and it's Thursday. Saturday's Christmas Eve. And we've worked to get the kids to be able to be here. And they've worked too. Back in the day when we were going to Mom and Dad's for Christmas dinner, there was only me employed. Crystal wasn't employed outside the house. Or when she was employed, she worked in the school system like me, and we were off at the same time. So it wasn't an issue getting everybody here. Well, this year we've got 8 people with 8 different schedules to work around. Some work second shift, some work first shift, some work 12-hour days, some work 10-hour days, some work from home, online. So I've got 8 kids employed. So it's been hard to come up with a time that we're able to everybody get together. I think we've got it worked out, or I thought we had it worked out. I'm not certain right at the moment because of the weather. My oldest son lives about 2 hours away over near Ashland, Kentucky. And it looks like tonight, his wife has to work tonight. She works till 6 a.m. tomorrow. Well, tonight we're supposed to get 4 inches of snow, and it's supposed to drop down to 2 degrees. So, and it's supposed to rain before that. So there'll be a coating of ice and then a coating of snow. So I don't know if they'll make it here or not. They don't own a 4-wheel drive vehicle. And even if they did, I wouldn't want them out on the interstate when it's solid ice. 4-wheel drive vehicles are wonderful things, but they'll climb up places that they can't sit. You know, we had a 4-wheel drive. It would climb up the railroad track going up to Ma and Pa's, but if you stopped, you'd slide back off. It would climb up places it wouldn't sit. So a 4-wheel drive vehicle doesn't stop any better than a 2-wheel drive vehicle. And stopping is your main problem in ice. So I don't know if they're going to make it here for a Christmas dinner or not. We have Christmas dinner on Christmas Eve. Just makes things simpler. And even if they make it on Christmas Eve, they'll be here Saturday and have to go back Sunday because she's got to work Sunday night. So we've got about a 30-minute window that all the kids can be under our roof at the same time. So I'll take it. You know, it's what you can get. I'll take it. But it may not happen. Now, I'm out here in the shop. It's time, since we're going to have this 2 degrees, and I think Friday night, Christmas Eve, I think it's supposed to be -2 or -3. So I've got to get some things squared away. First off, my battery-powered implements. I need to make sure that all the batteries are charged up. Let me get started on building a fire. It's cold out here already. My little nose is running like a sugar tree. Let me start building a fire out here in the workshop because I'm going to be out here for a while today. Nobody here but me and Crystal, and she's going to be cooking all day. She's going to be making the pies and the banana pudding and all that good stuff. But we've got plenty to be thankful for. I'm not going to complain about much. The kids can get here when they can. I just don't want them to get hurt. You know? Don't do something that's going to hurt you. So that's where we're at with that. Now, as far as the channel goes, now in January, Crystal and I take a break from social media. Now, the reason we do that is, well, what did I do with my box? I had a box. There it is. I save all these boxes to use to start fires here in the workshop. Oh, I almost turned you over. Sorry. Anyway, in January, sometimes there's a lot going on the homestead, and sometimes there's not. And even when there is, January temperatures wreak havoc on my cameras. It's about 30 degrees out here, 28 degrees right now. And I can see that my camera batteries already went down a bar just because it's cold out here. So in January, we may film some things, but we won't post them because I can't be consistent. So I just have to take a January break. I can't afford the big fancy cameras. My camera's a 4K camera, but I bought it on eBay for $60. All right, all of my cameras were less than $100 a piece. I've got 3, and then I was gifted a GoPro by one of my nephews. So that's where we're at. I want to tell each of you thank you for coming and watching our channel. I've got some folks that have been with me for ever since this thing began. And you've commented, you've left me messages. Times when I just wasn't feeling up to it. With my disability, sometimes I don't feel up to anything. And sometimes you get kind of down. But I try to keep myself focused on what we're doing. And sometimes the comments can be not helpful. Sometimes the comments can be downright cruel. But I've got a group of folks that have been with me since this began. And I'm going to miss a few, so let me just call them off. Larry, Gary, Lisa, Linda, Tony, Lazy Slee Stack, Indy Acres, Shep, and there's more, but I can't think of my little brain. I should have wrote them down so that I could remember to call them out and tell them thank you. You've helped me over the years. We've been at this. We started this channel in March of 2018. So March of 2023, we'll have completed 4 years. So we enjoy doing this. It's basically set aside to be a chronicle of our life, starting and living on a small homestead, a modern homestead, when you're in your 50s. We started this, I was 55 years old. Started the channel when I was 55. We started this homestead, started working on the house part when I was 52. So we've been working on the house for quite some time. I'm 59 now, so I'm still not completely done with the house, but most of the stuff in the house is done. I've still got a few things like putting in the gas heat and gas fireplace and tiling it and doing all that stuff. Also, I've got a couple of floor transitions that I have to work on, that I just wasn't satisfied with the way they came out, and a couple of other minor things for the inside the house. Then I've got some outside the house stuff that needs to be done. I need to get a coat of paint on the eaves of the house, but yeah, that's proved to be a little tough thing. I may have to hire that done. I don't want to wind up in the hospital because I done something stupid. I'm not opposed to doing dumb stuff, but you shouldn't do dumb stuff if you know it's dumb. Just saying. So, what I've got to do today is my workshop is probably the worst it's ever been. I have used and abused this shop this summer. Basically abused it. I can't get to my table saw. I can get to the radial arm saw, but I couldn't put a piece of wood on it 8 feet long because there's so much junk without moving stuff. My workbench is covered up. I can't get to it. So I know I'm going to have some winter projects, because you can come out here and work in the winter, build a fire and work and do some stuff when it's just prohibitive, when it's 0 degrees out there. You know, I can go out and work down to about 20 degrees. You know, I think about Al and Gina Lumna up there, and they have to get out when it's 10 below, you know. I don't have to do that. I seldom ever do we get minus temperatures. I think the coldest we've had since we've been here is minus 30. So, but that was only like 2 nights in a row, and it only lasted, by the next week, the low was in the 30s. So, it was just a weird snap, and I think that's what we've got coming up here at Christmas. We've got a weird snap, and it's just going to get cold. So, I want to get this stuff going. All I'm burning today is scrap wood. I've got so much scrap here that's in the way that I need to get out of the way. Now, I'm going to go out here in just a second and grab some little sticks as kindling. But, well, I think I'll go do that, and then I'll come back to you. You know, it's always escaped me why people chop kindling. Well, drop my grabber. When there's sticks around. I never understood that. When I'm out in the woods, I find a good dry stick. That's what I start my fires with. Well, around here on my property, we have plenty of trees, and every year there are falls. You know, stuff that falls down. And you can use that to start a fire with. I'll never understand why people chop kindling. I know that some folks will have different opinions, and that's all right. Opinions are like buttholes. Everybody's got one. And I've got 2 sometimes, or 3. But no, I just go out and harvest a little stick or 2 and lay them here on my fire to get it started. You know, that's going to start a lot quicker than a piece of kindling. People will cut down a tree and pile up all the brush and burn it in a pile, when they could be using that as their kindling instead of chopping their big wood up. Just amazes me. Anyway, Where were we when I went out? Oh yeah, I've got some batteries that need to be charged up, and I'm going to get this fire going and get the shop warmed up, and then I'm going to go out and bring those batteries in. One of them is a battery that we used on our sprayer, our new sprayer that we bought. You can go back and see that video about the sprayer. And then the other ones are the tool batteries. The batteries for my saws and drills, and I want to make sure all of those are charged up. They're out here in the cold. I'll leave them outside. I don't haul them in and out of the house. And those have to be charged up so that, get it out here, they have to be charged up so that they can withstand the cold. So I'm going to get this fire started. I've got a whole bunch of little scrap wood just laying here. Ow. So I'm going to break it up and get it in the fire. Now, Chris and I have an alternative heat source. We've got propane heaters, indoor propane heaters that we can set up at any time. We prefer our heat pump. It's just cheaper to operate than propane. Also, I've got a generator if we have to have electric heat of some kind. So I've got a generator. I have solar panels, but I haven't got around to installing them. So that's just the way that is. Put some of these blocks of pine on here. This is the first fire in the shop this year. So get some of this stuff in here and get it to where it can burn. This right here is the best fire starter on the planet. That's the best fire starter on the planet. Do you see what that is? That's 1/4 inch press board. That press board stuff. This stuff burns like crazy. I don't know that I'd want to have that in my house. It burns immeasurably good. It is probably the best fire starter you've ever used. So I'm going to put that in there. Now I'll go ahead and get this started. I used to try and use a cigarette lighter to start these. And I'll just tell you, I've watched YouTube videos, and remodeled my entire house. Get this out right. I remodeled my entire house from YouTube University, except for the electrical and the rough carpentry and the drywall and stuff. I went to school for that back when I was a young man. Before I went off to college, when I was in high school, I went to vocational school and took residential electricity, and I took carpentry. And my mom, well, I'm about out of gas. Look at that. That's a pitiful flame, and that's all the way open. My mom was a carpenter, and my dad was an electrician. So there ain't much of this stuff that I don't know how to do. Now, I had never done tile before. I had never done tile before, ceramic tile. I'd done place and press tile. Never done ceramic tile before, so that was a learning experience. I've never laid tile vertically, and I'm going to have to do that on a fireplace. And so that's going to be a learning experience. Now, as Christmas approaches, I want you to remember what Christmas was about. Before Christ, Christmas was about something called Yule, and the pagans worshipped their deity. Come on, draw. Well, it's going to be that way. There we go. The pagans worshipped Odin, and they had Yule, and it was a 12-day celebration. Christianity co-opted that, and it made it easier to convert the pagans to Christianity if they kept the same festivals. So that's why we have a Christmas tree. It's why we have a lot of different celebrations. It's not because those were Christian celebrations. It's because they were Roman celebrations. They were Gaul celebrations. They were Goths and Visigoths and Celts. They were celebrations already that the Christian church kept, but converted them to Christian means, which, when in Rome, do like the Romans do. Okay? It's not a bad thing, it's just a thing. But remember, this is when we celebrate the birth of Christ. Christ wasn't born. I don't think Christ was born in the middle of winter. And you can go back. I did a Yule log, and I explained why I didn't think he was born in the middle of winter. But the truth is, it doesn't matter when Christ was born, because he came for us, not for him. So if we celebrate his coming, doesn't matter when we celebrate it. Okay? Doesn't matter when we celebrate when he came. So that's what this is about. It's about the love and showing the love for family. And it's not about this commercial Christmas that so many celebrate here in America. It's become a commercial Christmas. People go in debt for Christmas. That's crazy. Don't go in debt for Christmas. That is out of the frame. Christmas has changed over the years. You can go back and look at the history of Christmas in America. My grandmother, her Christmas was making gingerbread and getting an orange. Okay? Making gingerbread and getting an orange. That was her Christmas. And going to church. So, don't be afraid to challenge the bull poop of the day. Today, our modern Christmas is almost totally about money. It's not about Jesus. And the truth is, of all the religions in the United States, 90% of the people in the United States celebrate Christmas. Even though the ones that aren't Christians still celebrate Christmas, because we have this capitalist tradition. So I'm going to do what Christmas is supposed to be about. Crystal and I have never went in debt for Christmas. Let me say that again. Crystal and I have never went in debt for Christmas. And I pray that you don't either. Christmas is about love, family, Jesus. Okay? And even if you're not a Christian, Christmas is about love and family. Celebrate it for that. Now, we're going to take our winter break, and we'll be back the first week of February. We take it from all social media, so I won't be posting anything on the College Hill Farm Facebook page, nor on the College Hill Farm blog post. You can go to our Facebook page. You can find it. Just type College Hill Farm on Facebook in the Facebook search, and we'll come up. Then, if for our blog, we're at collegehillfarm.blogspot.com. But I talk about things in the blog, about old-timey things and things that are going on the homestead and how it reminds me of different things. I talk about my parents and sometimes I talk about my religion. I try and keep religion and politics off the channel. Those are the most divisive things in our modern society, religion and politics. So I try not to incorporate those into the channel because it's just divisive and it doesn't help nobody. So I like this to be a refuge from where you can come in and go, okay, I don't have to worry about who's president, who's governor, who's Congress, who controls Congress. I don't have to worry about none of that. I'm just worried about homesteading. So I wish you a Merry Christmas. And because this is our last video of the year, I'll go ahead and wish you a Happy New Year too. And pray that you have the peace that Crystal and I have enjoyed over the years. We have had a good life. Now, there have been hard spots. There have been some terribly hard spots. Hard spots that break up a lot of couples. About 1 in 8. I'm sorry. The average marriage only lasts 8 years in the United States now. So, a lot of couples have a hard time with this marriage stuff. Well, Crystal and I have had our ups and downs. But we've always been kind to each other, and we've always been kind to our children, and our first priority has always been the children. Now, once they're grown and keeping their own, we keep them as a priority, but our priorities had to change. Once the kids are grown, they've got their own job, they've got their own life, they've got their own careers, then your focus has to be on each other. That's a little marriage advice for Christmas. May the peace of Christ find you this Christmas. See you in February.